Thank you. Yeah, and today was just to highlight it, that this is a program that's going to be starting and we'll get more and more information. And thank you to our participants. And Councilmember?
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I was doing, I didn't really have time to do a ton of research on this, but I think the circuit breaker program that, I think the state used to have a program like this, and they no longer have it, but I want to say it was paid back, some of it, maybe all of it, some of it was paid back if the home was sold. So, you know, again, there's a lot to this. I don't think what's being considered here is to do exactly what this is, because their program was different than what it sounds like we're trying to do here. But I think the main thing I want to make sure is that that this doesn't, that this doesn't go ahead of the strategic housing plan. I mean, that to me, that is incredibly important, because there's a whole host of things that we can do for affordability. We can do this, but we also can spend money to acquire land that people can live on affordably, right? And so there's a lot of different strategies. This could be one, but let's continue to have this discussion within the strategic housing planning process.
Any more comments up here?
Sorry. I move that we refer this item to HCDC for to determine the details and finalize the program.
Chair Helikais? Okay. So I know at the Finance and Budget Committee, Bobby, you had a problem. You didn't want this to come before the strategic housing plan. And we don't want this to be like it's some sort of competition for that money from Northwestern. That's not what we want to do. I think this is totally different from what you're doing. And I don't want this to go into what Ravel is proposing and it goes there to die. No.
Yeah, that's not consistent with what I'm saying.
There's enough money for these to be separate.
Yeah, and so that's.
We're in a building right now that's over 30 million. We got the money to do this and then do this. They don't have anything to do with each other. Separate. The money is separate. We got the money. I'm sorry, Chair Hadakais. I'm sorry.
Okay. Councilmember Burns.
The Affordable Housing Fund is just a fund. It's a pot of money. And so what the Strategic Housing Plan is going to allow us to do is determine how we want to use those funds. And so I'm not trying to put two things together. They're not together. They don't, other than the Affordable Housing Fund, not just the money that was secured through the Northwestern discussions, but the Affordable Housing Fund can fund whatever priorities the council approves. This could be one of them. And so what I'm saying is that what has been described to me by our community development director, who's over that fund, is that what she would like to see, and I think council would agree, is that a strategic housing planning process should determine how affordable housing funds are prioritized, how much will go towards a program like this, how much will go towards any other number of programs that will come out of that process. And so that's all I'm saying is that we've already started that journey. The question to staff is, how can we incorporate this discussion into the strategic housing discussion? I've never mentioned any battle of money. That hasn't come out of my mouth.
Oh, you mentioned that at the Finance and Budget. That's why I'm even coming up here.
I
planted the seed that
Yeah.
you do not want this to come before any of what you're doing with the strategic housing. I'm like, it's separate. There's enough money for everybody.
Yeah.
And it'd be great if we did get data from staff. It's funny they gave you all data, but we haven't gotten any.